I now have a baby in my lap. Is this called being a modern woman? What is up, guys? Welcome back. My child slept from 10 p.m. last night until 7 a.m. this morning, which was such a wonderful gift. But as a result, he won't sleep now. And he doesn't really seem interested in doing anything. He just wants to be awake. I had him in the snoo because he looked like he was falling asleep. And then I checked the baby cam and I just see him in his snoo like this. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go get him. I'm not gonna leave him down there. So I have Simon in the room with me. If you hear cute little cooing and hiccuping and just, you know, idle noises, it's because I have a baby right here. I also have about 800 swatches on my hands right now. And that is because today we're going to be talking about the new Cloud Paint shades. And as you guys know, I'm a bit of a connoisseur of a good cream blush. And I wanted to show you guys the new shades in context, if you will. So I'm gonna be going through all of these and then I will promptly wipe them off because I really don't wanna get them all over my shirt. I already got them on Simon's adorable little pink mittens. Pink? Well, they're pink now. They were white when we started. I hope I can remember all of the actual products that I swatched here just by look. The new shades are entitled Eve and Spark. So Eve is a deep plummy, it's this one right here, purple, and then Spark is this really bright kind of cherry red color, and we're going to be applying both of them, kind of layering them. They are, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe these were developed again sort of with deeper skin tones in mind, and so we're going to be using them very sparingly because they're very saturated, but I have already tried these. I can make them work, and I think it's going to be just a valuable exercise to watch. Oh, and then also just because it's fun, I got this. This is the Glossier lip gloss with the gold freckles in it. Freckles? It's glitter. It's gold glitter. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. I've been watching Jamie French, so I mean, I've just been like binge watching makeup and movies. So if I start talking funny or making like weird little voices, it's just because she's inside my head right now. Okay, so let's start with this hand. This is the one where we started with Eve, and I swatched her right here. This right here is Storm Cloud Paint, because I know that that was my first thought, was how similar is it to Storm? The answer is not that similar. This is Daniel Sandler Berry, which is extremely similar to Storm. This I can tell because it's that kind of dewy consistency, is the Cosmetic Soft Amethyst Color Drops. So that's context there. This right here is Grace from Rare Beauty. This is Haze Cloud Paint right here. So that's this one that I don't really wear that often, but those are kind of the three cloud paints in context. I don't own Puff. I think Puff is the only one I don't have. I'm not sure, but it's just kind of a very, very, very pale pink. It would not stand in any kind of valuable comparison to any of these anyway, and I don't particularly like it on my skin. This is actually one of the most similar to the actual shade value that I own. This is Fenty Cool Berry. So that's gonna be, if you have that in your collection, very, very similar in tone, but clearly not in saturation. And then we get into the Salt New York pigments. And so someone pointed it out. I did swap them accidentally when I did my most recent Salt New York video. So this is Blackberry and this is Wine. I switched them up. And then this is the new Spice, and then this is Raspberry, just for context's sake. So you can also see not only, you know, is that a valuable comparison for the actual shades, but it's also a valuable comparison for the formulas, because you can see that Cloud Paint is just much more saturated and it dries down matte. The only other one that I see that dries down matte is the Rare Beauty, and also you could argue the Daniel Sandler. So here is a much smaller set of swatches because this is not really my favorite color to wear. You guys know that cherry candy apple red. It does actually layer pretty nicely on top of this for me, and I think that it needs that because this is extremely cool toned when it goes on, so you guys will see how they work together. But I did compare it to the things that I had in my collection, even if they're not the things that I typically wear all that often. So this is Joy from Rare Beauty. You guys know I don't love that formula. This right here is Cherry Splash in the Cosmetics Color Drops. This right here is Rituel de Fille in Blood Flower, their Nectar blushes. This is Beam in Cloud Paint. So that's another one where you can see they kind of dry down matte. And this is the Daniel Sandler blush in Petal. They are so stinking similar in shade. So if you are, for some reason, anti-Glossier, anti-cloud paints, you can get the Storm Cloud Paint very easily in the Daniel Sandler Berry. The Beam Cloud Paint very, very easily in Petal. They're very, very similar. So that is Beam, This is Petal, and then these two are Coral and Peach from the Salt New York palette, and then this is the new Cranberry from the Salt New York palette. I swore I was gonna be able to leave myself breadcrumbs to remember all of those, and it was still a struggle, so let me wipe those off. Hey Potato, did you guys see the cute haiku that materialized on my Instagram? If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, it's just so much fun over there. So on my stories, I essentially accidentally dictated to my phone while I was talking to Simon, and I just go completely mindless and say the weirdest stuff. And I said, "You are so tiny." Something like, "You are the cutest little potato, I love you." And it ended up being a haiku, and then my friend turned it into a really cute graphic and I put it on my feed. Okay, so I already have the Arrive Skin Boost on, as well as some Salt New York contour, bronzer, and then I have done a little bit of brow pencil. My lip is almost better, but they are still quite swollen. They're not gonna be this big, so continue to bear with me. But let's go ahead and start in with Eve. So if you've never used the Cloud Paints before, they are massively pigmented regardless of these being an exceptionally pigmented version of them. And I would argue that you always end up putting on a little bit too much, then your face eats them and you end up having to come back and put more on anyway. So that's how that one shears out. And I'm going to really kind of shear it out on the front of the brush as much as I can, so that we don't get ourselves in too deep all at once. Cloud Paint does dry all the way down though, which is interesting because most of Glossier's products don't. So, you know, you use their skin tint or their stretch concealer or something and it just doesn't have a dry down. It just kind of stays dewy and skin-like and like, oh my gosh, that's so pretty for a photo, but it doesn't always, you know, translate to wear time. But Cloud Paint has, once you get past your face eating it and you reapply it, it has a lot of wear time. So I would describe this color on my face as Dimetap. It is a pure purple on me, and I like purple on me. I do, and I feel like once I get this on, it starts to adjust. It'll be purple, 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 and then all of a sudden, I don't know if my skin adjusts or my eyes adjust, but yes, it stays Dimetap colored, but it starts to just kind of relax and bring my undertones out in a way that I would never have expected. And I don't own, I mean, yes, we did compare it to the Fenty, but other than that, I don't really own a super cool toned purple like this. And it's something that I think is important to have in my repertoire or in my collection, not just as like a standalone, but also because it's a great thing to mix in with other things, because you guys see me all the time deciding midway through a makeup look whether I'm gonna go for cool, whether I'm gonna go for neutral, whether I'm gonna go for warm, because I want it all to match up. If your eyes are cool and your cheeks are warm, it's gonna make your eyes look really small and your cheeks look really odd and clownish, you know, so you wanna match those things up. And sometimes it's just a matter of having something in your collection that you can mix to make it work. It's kind of the same logic as putting your blush in your eye look, you know, in order to just make it look cohesive. So not bad, not bad. I don't hate it. You are so stinking cute. He's just over there, ha, ha, ha. I promise you he's in no distress. So that's that. And I think that we managed to not put on too much. And now I'm gonna layer Spark on top of it. You know, they release these things in duos and it always begs the question, do they belong together? I would argue in this case, yeah, I think they work really well together. And Spark, again, is not necessarily a shade I think works all that well on me on its own. It's more of a State of Kate shade, although I'm not really sure if she ended up liking it. Sometimes she doesn't like blushes because they're too saturated. I need to debut him on my channel at some point. I just feel like someone's going to come steal my baby if I show him off because he's too perfect. Anyway, this is Spark on top of Eve. I think it really works. Wait for my face to eat it. At first it's a little bit weird, but it does end up kind of adjusting. Then I'll take something that has like my complexion product on it and just sort of clean it up, because if you keep using the same brush, your whole face will end up pink or whatever color it is that, you know, they mix in to look like. And I have definitely been down that road many times. So I use something that either has nothing on it or just a little bit of complexion product and blend the edges a little bit. I mean, I will not say that it is my best couple of shades, okay? I'm just saying that it works out. I can get them to work together. And again, they are extremes for me in a way that I find them useful to mix in with other things. If I wanted to warm something up, I could totally use Spark. If I wanted to cool something off, I could totally use Eve. And together they kind of balance each other out in this sort of warm berry situation. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick eye look, and I think it's really mainly gonna consist of this like pink shade right here in the Huda Beauty Khaki Haze palette, because it has its own really lovely wash, almost of just a wet texture that shifts pink, but not much more than that. I just watched Amanda Z's one and done eyeshadows video where she reviewed all of her favorite one and done eyeshadows, and some of them were just so enchanting in the same respect that this one is, in the sense that like you see your skin through it, but it just casts a texture over the top. And I used this the other day, and I had applied a whole bunch of other like crease shades and stuff like that, and as soon as I put this on, I regretted putting the other ones on first, because I was like, this is such a standalone. Like, it does such a good job of just being enough. I love how babies just kind of amuse themselves. They just sit over there and they're just like, well, I guess this is life. Life, life, life. I'm just gonna take in my surroundings, giggly goo. I promise you I spend like 90% of my day just staring into his eyes. All right, I'm taking a little bit of my Aether Rose Quartz palette because it's been my favorite way to do an inner corner highlight lately. It's so effective. It's hard to find shades that are bright enough to do like an actual highlight on me. This video is gonna be hilarious. And then I'm gonna take a flat brush into that same shade, the little pinky gold guy, and just go underneath my eyes too, because it's just a nice texture. I now have a baby in my lap. Is this called being a modern woman? I'm gonna do a little eyeliner. Don't leave. We have 2 rules in this house. Number 1, no sad. No sad. Number 2, don't leave. And by don't leave, I mean, he can't roll off me, he can't kick off me. Those are the rules. Every time he cries, I'm like, no, no sad. We made the rules very, very clear. He's such a good baby though. Hence sleeping through the night last night. A little bit of brow mousse. Baby ASMR. Potato bean. Potato bean. Hi, guy. Hi, guy. I love you. All right, so I would be lying if I said that this lip gloss was anything to write home about. I mean, granted, I do love the Glossier lip gloss formula usually, and this is really no different, but it's got gold flecks in it instead of silver. It's a fun little thrill for the holidays. They did put out some other packages of things for the holidays. You know, they did like this card box, I don't know. If you want to hear somebody thoroughly roast the holiday releases, go check out Nisi Piece's most recent chatting about new products video. They never disappoint, but that one's also really funny. I thought it was actually hilarious that she was like, am I funny in this video? I feel like I'm not that funny. I'm like, girl, I'm crying. Lately, I've just wanted to laugh. And I just love that there are so many makeup channels out there that also do humorous content. Oh, by the way, I didn't even get to mention, thank you guys for really loving our collab that we did in the last video. I had so much fun with that. I feel like I actually completely cut loose and was my true worst self in that video. So if you haven't watched it, it's worth it if you want to see like what the wrong side of my coin looks like. Fortunately, I'm not always like that. It was just like a good old mood I was in. Thank you guys for watching that. Thank you guys if you are new here from other people's channels. Hello, I'm not always that extra, but I mean, I prepare you. It was a good preparation, you know? Go ahead and like kick the tires on whether or not you really want to be on my channel. All right, so final thoughts with the baby in my lap. The new Cloud Paints are unique in the sense that they are very saturated compared to some of the other Cloud Paint shades. Can you dupe the shade? Absolutely. Like I said, I think that the closest to the new one, Eve, is the Fenty in Cool Berry. And the closest to Spark, I would argue, is actually the new Cranberry shade from Salt New York, but they're very, very different textures. Those are super balmy. They don't dry down. These do dry down. They don't smudge. Like if you reach up, they're not going to be completely smudge proof, but like if you reach up and touch your face, they don't come off on your fingers unless you're wearing a really, really dewy foundation under them or something. So I think that that's the advantage of the Cloud Paints. No one's really ever completely duped that formula. A lot of people have tried. I would say that the closest is actually the Rare Beauty, but I think they're the Rare Beauty. You guys know I don't love this formula. It's too intensely pigmented and it dries too fast. And actually, I lied. The other one that's actually pretty similar is the Daniel Sandler. I actually prefer this to the Cloud Paints. I just feel like it's easier to use. It doesn't do that thing where you're so sure that you have the right amount and it's going to actually be way too much. It doesn't end up coming out too much. Too much product doesn't end up coming out of the package all at once either, and these are just a lot easier to control. And I just think that these particular, like the shades translate better in this particular formula. This is the Daniel Sandler watercolor gel cheek color as opposed to his watercolor, just, you know, the wet ones that almost look, I mean, they're like literally like water. Yeah, I knew this was gonna be a quick video. I didn't think it was gonna be this hectic to try and record it, but I wanted to get it out for you guys. And you know, the show must go on. I have a beautiful baby child and I also have a beautiful channel, and the two have to be able to coexist in my life in order for me to be happy. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this in spite of all of its, well, chaos. But yeah, guys, if you did enjoy this, give it a thumbs up. I'll leave links to everything that I swatched down below, and ask me questions if you know, if there were any that you know I have in my collection that I neglected to swatch or compare. I can help answer questions as you guys need them. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me and Simon off screen today. Hi, Peach. Hi, Potato. You're never gonna sleep again, are you? I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Bye. Oh, I'm the worst.